Hey guys, John Boyette with Trace Armory Group. We're going to talk about pistol caliber carbine sight in, and we're going to get into trajectory and the elements of what trajectory is. First part of this is going to be what the fundamental elements of a ballistic arc we have here. As you can see, we have the summit, which is the highest part of the ballistic arc. We have the line of bore, which is the blue line to your left. That is the direction your barrel is pointed in. And from the line of bore to the summit, you have the ascending branch, which is going up. The summit is the maximum ordinate, which is the top of it, and the descending branch heading down. It's with any type of trajectory, from rifles to artillery fire to whatever. Now, we're going to incorporate our line of sight. There's different types of sight-in options. You have the summit sight-in, which is what you see here, which is the green arrows pointed to the sight-in distance, which is pointed at the summit of the trajectory. If you notice, everything from the sight-in distance towards the left, the bullet is low. Everything from the sight-in distance to the right, past the sight-in distance, all of your projectiles will print low as well. Now we're going to talk about the long-range sight-in. On a long-range sight-in, the trajectory arc crosses the line of sight twice, once near, once far. This would be a 50-200 for like an AR-15, or even a 27 on the short side and 300 on the far. You can even go as crazy as put in a 10 on the short side and a 400 on the far for like a 308 rifle. Okay, guys, when you look at this graphic, if you look to the left, there is a inch drop chart. 15 yards and 115 yards are both highlighted in a green color. If you notice that the 15 yard, the inch drop is 0, and 115 yards, the inch drop is close to 0, as the mathematics will give us. That is your near at 15 and your far at 115. Now, if you notice also that the 0, 5, and 10 yard lines are negative numbers, -2, -1.5, and so on. Look at your graphic. From the near to 0 is below the line of sight. You also get the same negative number after 115 yards. If you notice that the projectile arc, that red line, is below the black line, which is the line of sight, it shows it negative also, which means that between the 15 and the 115, the projectile is the center of trajectory is above the line of sight. So we'll see how that plays out here in just a minute. A little bit of color coordination here. You might want to pause the video so you can see it. The blue shows you your sight ends, yellow shows your ascending branch, the black shows you the summit, and the green shows you the descending branch. Here at the summit, you can see that as we get close to the top of the arc, which is 3.8 inches above the line of sight, you can see how it's creeping. Basically 60 to 75 yards, there's that sweet flat spot right there. You could do a summit 0 with a 115 grain 9mm and at about 65, 70 yards and have a great trajectory arc. For my purposes in defensive shooting, I don't like to do that. This is a great slide for interpretation. You can see that this shot group was done at 25 yards. We just did a video on it that you've just seen of that sight in. You can see where the trajectory is telling me that the center of that shot group should be 1.3 inches high, and that's what we have. I'm aiming at the X. The yellow arrows show you the center of the shot group above my point of aim, and it's about 1.3 inches high. at 25 yards, which we already know what that's going to look like. That's where I'm sighted. That's where I'm sighted in at. We're going to let this roll and see how it does. Exactly what we expected. Shot 25 yards, hit point of aim, point of impact, just like the sight is. Now we're going to move to 30 yards. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Projectile's a touch higher, but nothing crazy. Now we're going to move on to 50 yards. Now, as you notice up top, the graphic shows that green line that represents where the target is in relationship to the trajectory arc. So let's see how this goes. Just like we predicted, the trajectory arc is showing us, based upon the math to the left, that the projectile is higher above the line of sight, according to what that chart says, and that's what it just did. All right, let's look at 60 yards to see what this performance is like. Now notice that the green line and the red line in the graphic above, pretty dang close to flying off the target. Let's see what this looks like.